Now, the actual title of this video should be Public Education is slowly getting more and more isolated from society, being made 400 years ago and used for much different purposes. But that doesn't work well for a title of a video. School has a lot wrong with it. Anyone who has ever gone to it can easily point out all these quirks that just make no sense, and it seems that there was no thought whatsoever put into schooling. But that is wrong. So, today I'm here to explain why school is stupid. But to do that, we need to understand how schooling came to be. And let me tell you, it is a refined system that was crafted and perfected over hundreds of years. Although, that makes it much more confusing as to why it is so bad. Don't worry though, I'll explain. See, modern schooling really seemed to start in around the 6th century with the forerunners of the medieval university, these being monasteries of the Roman Catholic Church. Their main objective was to preserve Latin and maintain the art of writing. These would later become cathedral schools. These monastic and Christian cathedral schools would then become the first institutions generally considered universities. They were mainly established in Italy, France, and England in the late 11th and the 12th centuries. Most of these pursued the study of the arts, law, medicine, and theology. Soon enough, the first form of public education would come about thanks to the Third Lateran Council in 1179, in which the church mandated that priests provide the opportunity for free education to their people. Parishes and monasteries began setting up free schools for basic literary skills. The priests' and brothers' salaries were frequently subsidized by the towns, and in 1633, an act of the Parliament of Scotland even introduced a tax to pay for the schooling, which reflects modern public schooling. Finally, in the 17th century, John Amos Comenius promoted a universal education system which parallels our modern system. Whoa, mama, that was a lot of history. But can you see the problem at the end? Yeah. A system in the 17th century is what we use to this very day. No, the thing is that the 17th century was a much different time, and although it may have worked perfect then for what they were doing, it doesn't work now. The problem is that people just kinda didn't do anything new with the system after they got to this point, and it just doesn't work anymore. Not only does the society today demand much different jobs such as engineers and computer scientists, it needs to prepare people for a society where there's a lot more to know, but a little thing called the internet to help them with it. In the 17th century, America still had an entire 100 years before gaining independence, and the colonies were just being set up. There were no computers, and saxophones hadn't even been invented yet. It's just a much different society it was built for, and thus it doesn't work. What I'm trying to get across is that these weird quirks seem to come from schools never being evolved into something greater. It just seems that the governments of the world just aren't risky enough to take real gambles and just create a better education, and in today's world is isolating school more and more. The basic fundamentals which public schooling uses doesn't hold up in today's standards, which would explain the more and more skills that are having to be taught on job when a kid gets a new one, the value of experience more than academia, and the huge separation of understanding the job and understanding the academics of it. Does this particularly hurt anyone? No. But I believe it is the internet's job to complain about anything that may only have the slightest bit of problems. #FixSchool.